the recipient of the Spotlight Award, Dakota Johnson. Dakota, you were telling me while that reel was playing how much you love just hearing your past works and having people watch it right in front of you, right?
I'm sweating. I hated that. Next time, I think you should not make the person sit here, and then they can come out after.
I mean, at least it's behind the curtain.
Someone write that down.
So let me start here. Congratulations on your fantastic performance in The Lost Daughter.
Thank you.
It is incredible in which you portray Nina, and it's the writing and directorial debut of Maggie Gyllenhaal. So let's talk about how that came to be and what was that experience like for you, because you filmed during COVID.
We did. We filmed during COVID. I wanted to make the film before the pandemic happened. I was signed on to it before then, and obviously things got pushed back. But I mean, the usual way, you read a script, and if you're lucky enough to meet the director, you do. And I was lucky enough. Maggie and I had lunch, and then it was a while until I heard from her if she wanted me to do the job or not. And she did, thank God, because so did I. And that's how that happened.
You work with some amazing actors, Olivia Colman, Academy Award winner Olivia Colman, excuse me, I have to say it correctly, as well as Jessie Buckley, Peter Sarsgaard, Ed Harris. They're all magnificent. Talk about working with this ensemble and playing well off one another and those types of things.
It was pretty amazing. Everyone in the cast is a pretty spectacular human. So we all spent a lot of time together while we were filming, like all of our time together. We didn't. I had to be like, you guys, I need to be alone tonight. Everyone would just hang out in Olivia's room all the time. It was like a real family. And Ed Harris worked with my mom a long time ago on Milk Money. And then I worked with him on a film called Cymbeline. It was a Shakespeare film, which was bizarre. But he played my dad. So that was amazing to work with him again. Paul Mescal, it was his first film, actually, after Normal People. Normal People. So, and our first day on set was actually our makeout scene, and that was...
It's a way to get acquainted really, really quick, right?
It was so just the most awful. I mean, like so sweet, but also both of us were, it's not the first thing you want to do with someone that you don't really know, usually. So that to make him, he was like shaking and so because I'm me. And so I just told him like all of my secrets, and then he was totally comfortable.
Did he tell you yours? His, rather? Did he tell you his
No,
secrets?
we genuinely, it was like, this is awkward. It's both of our first days on set, so weird. But then we just have become really good friends. He's like a brother.
That you kissed once on set.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's cool. All right. Actually, let's talk about Nina and the way you find her. I say that there's a line in the movie when you tell Olivia Colman, part of my French, when you're like, watch your back, bitch. Like it comes from like a place somewhere deep inside. Like you knew Nina like at some point in your life. Did you find her pretty easily?
That Nina?
Yeah, that Nina. Yeah, that Nina.
No, that's not me. I'm not the watch your back bitch girl. I'm pretty non-confrontational in that way. But it was really fun. Maggie was like really pushing for that. We did that scene a lot. It was, we would like shoot and then reset and keep shooting and keep resetting and for a few hours. So adrenaline was really high and the energy was it was like exasperating to keep doing that. So that's how I think we got to that place.
Cool. Let's go a little bit through your career. I say your gifts to cinema have included The Peanut Butter Falcon and Bad Times at the El Royale. Those are my favorite Dakota Johnsons in the filmography. Can you talk about Peanut Butter Falcon and that experience, because it's also one of the sweetest movies that like we've had in the last few years.
Thank you. I really love that film so much. That was like for me as an actor, I find that making movies changes my life a lot, and I have been lucky enough to make a lot of movies, and I making that film just kind of exploded my heart. Zach Gottsagen and Shia LaBeouf became really, really dear to me, and we were very close and very. We also on that set spent a lot of time together. Like every day after work, we would have dinner, and then we would watch a movie and have dessert in Zach's room. And like truly, like a little family. It was really, really sweet. I think that was really informative for the film as well, because sometimes you don't really have a friendship with people you work with, and it's really isolating, and you spend so much time alone, and then you're just thinking about all the mistakes you made or how you could have done something better. Like I wake up most nights after a day of shooting, and I'm like, oh, now I got it, and we already shot it, and I'll never get to do it again.
Do you guys notice the trend, though, that she talked about? She said, we were hanging out in Olivia Colman's room and then hanging out in Zach's room. You do not let anyone hang out in your room. Do you notice that? Or is that on purpose?
I have boundaries.
Yeah, it's good. Talk about Bad Times at the El Royale, which actually kicked off that reel after you shoot a boy in the face for being creepy.
I didn't shoot him in the face. I said it. I shot someone else, but he was behind them.
That is true.
I'd never shoot anybody in the face.
Do you have fond memories of working on that movie? And, just that again, big cast that included John Hamm, Chris Hemsworth, and all those, bad-looking dudes in Hollywood.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges also is just such a special human. He gave me this tiny little book called, I don't know if you guys know who Pema Chodron is. She's a Buddhist teacher. He gave me a little pocket version of this book called The Pocket Pema, and it's like, or I guess it's Pema, and they're little saying, this has nothing to do with the movie, but you guys should all get this book. I actually have a lot of them at my house, and I like to give them as gifts to people because it's really nice. But little meditations and sayings and helpful things. And then the other thing about that movie that I loved so much was meeting Kaylee Spaney, who is, I think, one of the best actresses around. And I think she's going to make some incredible films, that little girl. I mean, she's not a little girl, she's a young woman.
Yeah. When I started at Variety last September, in my first 90 days at Variety, you were one of the first Q&As I moderated for the film Our Friend. And yeah, so I was starting, and I was like, yeah, let's kick it off with Dakota Johnson. That's fun. So no, it was an incredible film, because it's an incredible performance from you, because that is a deep, deep interpretation of a real woman that was here. When you look back upon that, working with Jason Segel and Casey Affleck, what do you remember most fondly from that time?
You're choosing all of the movies that I developed like really wonderful relationships with people. I guess I like to do that because I really love when people are amazing, and Jason and I knew each other for a long time because I did that movie, The 5-Year Engagement, with him, and so that was great, and we had already this like built-in friendship. And then we shot that movie in the town where Nicole Teague and Matt Teague were from, and it's a really, really small town. And this was only recently that she died, and everyone knew her. And so if we went to a restaurant, people would say, "Oh, Nicole used to order this," or "She used to sit at this table," and that was just it lends a certain energy, I think, to what you're doing when, being in this tiny little town in Alabama, and everybody loves that you're there telling the story of this woman that everybody loved. And that just felt special, you know, and lucky.
You have worked with some amazing directors at the beginning parts of your career. David Fincher in The Social Network, as we just saw, Phil Lord and Chris Miller in 21 Jump Street. Hello. And Michael Almereyda on Cymbeline. What do you find yourself more attracted to, a directing style, or the type of character you're portraying from the script? What will hold you, or rather, what would make you say yes faster to a project?
It's always the script and then the people involved. They go hand in hand. It's not one over the other. You know, if it's an incredible script but the director is an asshole, I probably will consider not doing that, because I just don't know if it's worth it anymore. I don't know if, like, working with mean people or difficult people. I mean, artists can be difficult, but if there's not kindness and respect, then I don't know if it's worth the vulnerability and the work. But then also, you know, there's some times where I'm like, oh, that person is notoriously nuts, and yep, I would do that. So I don't know. I don't have an answer, but it's the script and it's the people.
You gained a lot of notoriety during the 50 Shades of Grey franchise, and wanted to know what that franchise afforded you the opportunity to do now in your career that you might not have been able to do before.
I mean, probably a lot of things. That franchise gave me a lot of opportunities, but probably the biggest one is that I now have my own company. There's a pony over there. That's cute. Sorry.
That's your gift for Spotlight Award. Happy
birthday!
My God, thank
you. Wow.
Wrong direction.
Sorry. That was really lame.
You have your own production company. You just threw that out there. You could start with it there.
I have a production company now, which I think maybe I would have been able to do that a little bit later in my career if I hadn't done those movies. But I do think that they really helped with that, for sure.
Have you seen Belfast here with your former co-star, Jamie Dornan?
No, but I've seen him a lot, which is great.
Really?
Well, he's not here, though.
Oh.
But Kenneth is here.
People got excited for a minute. They were like, wait. I'm usually just intimidated by men who are just really good looking and really nice at the same time. That's why I'm just going to crap on him a little bit for a little while. So you just have to bear with me on that. When you are now looking ahead, now talking about your production company, you are working on a lot of different projects. I'm going to ask you what projects first. I'm going to ask you what projects in a second. But as we see women really taking the leadership role in production companies, selling them for $1 billion and doing some really amazing things, are you excited by that prospect of helming your own projects, you determining what gets made and being your own boss?
Yeah.
I've been like, no. I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
What excites you about it?
I think that having the opportunity to tell honest, truthful stories and represent all different kinds of people is something that I'm incredibly interested in. I think there's I don't know, kind of like with The Lost Daughter, it's a very honest portrayal of womanhood and motherhood and female dynamics, and in a way that I haven't really seen before, and I'm interested in more of that across all genres. I guess I'm interested in authenticity, and I love all kinds of movies. You know, like I'll get down with a Marvel movie. I love all the indie films of the world. Like I as long as it's authentic, if it's like supreme fantasy, I'm there, and if it's supreme like reality, I'm there as well. I just am interested in the truth, and in making things really good. And with starting a company, I've been able to like surround myself with really talented people and watch them make amazing things. Like I've been working with this really incredible female DP named Christina Dunlap, and she's really, really magnificent. And that is exciting to me because a lot of people don't know her work, but they will. And I like that. I like uplifting people. I like coming up with people. I love, like young playwrights who want to be screenwriters and finding them and watching little movies and pairing newer writers with established directors and vice versa. I think that is really, really exciting to me.
Because you put it out there already about, being open to do a Marvel movie, is there a superhero that you want to play? No, there's none. No, there isn't, or no, you don't want to share.
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't name one, and the ones I could name, you guys would be like, Taken.
Can you say them anyway, though?
Spider-Man.
It's not Taken because he said this is the last of the trilogy, so there could be. We have a Spider-Verse now. Like there's interpretations.
See, I don't know, but I embrace it.
Okay. We're gonna get this going. We're all gonna huddle and we'll let you know afterwards.
I shouldn't talk about Marvel.
One of the things you're working on next is you're gonna stay in the Netflix queue for a while, and you're gonna be doing a Jane Austen adaptation. Can you talk about that? Because we're excited. We saw the pictures and they're pretty fly.
Oh, thanks. Yes, we did shoot that this summer, and that is a sort of like a modern adaptation of Persuasion, but it's not set in modern times, so it's still a costume drama. But the thing that's cool about that movie is that the cast is completely diverse, which I haven't seen yet in a Jane Austen adaptation. So I find that very rad.
One of the films that's on your docket for your production company that I've said this to you before, you sold it so well to me, ChaCha Real Smooth.
What did I say?
I'm not pitching your movie.
Pitch it.
No, you.
If I sold it well to you, then
no. I just want you to talk about how excited I am for this, but why this project for your production company, which is a writer and director a lot of people may not know.
Okay, it's a writer, director, actor, producer, editor who's 14? No, he's 24.
He is not a child. He is an adult.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He's 24, and he made a movie called Shit House, which I think is on Amazon or something, or Hulu.
Netflix? Are you here?
Netflix?
Someone will check the queue.
It's a great movie. So he wrote and he directed, wrote, we produced, and he is now editing and starred in this film with me called ChaCha Real Smooth. And it's about a young man who leaves college and isn't quite sure what he wants to do and is working at a hot dog stand called Meat Sticks, and ends up getting a side job as a party starter at bar mitzvahs.
Did I sell that right? Is that like a really dope premise? and it sounds so. They're editing right now. Are those the type of projects, like those unconventional stories that on paper you're like, what? Like that sounds strange but really cool. Is that the kind of projects you're gonna go after?
Yeah, I think it's really original, and like those are the pockets of life that I want to explore, like real people doing real things. I don't need to see the same story over and over again. I don't need to see the same women on screen all the time. So yeah, I mean, it's a tiny, tiny little film about a weird little life, but those sometimes, like Peanut Butter Falcon. That was a tiny, tiny little film about a weird little life.
But we all know it, and it's great. Congratulations. I do want to touch on just a couple more of your acting projects from the past. Black Mass with Scott Cooper, Bigger Splash, and Suspiria with Luca Guadagnino. Talk about that time and where you were and how those affect, because Suspiria especially is very different Dakota Johnson than we've seen before. What do you remember about it?
Suspiria, Luca and I started talking about while we were filming A Bigger Splash, and I was 24, I think, when we started to talk about that, and then we shot it when I was 27, and that was really intense. We had a lot of different choreographers. I did pretty much all my own dancing in this film. Then there was some things like these high jumps and then like a quadruple pirouette that no one can do, seemingly. But that I did a lot of training for beforehand, and then we shot it in Italy, and we were in the north of Italy in this town called Varese, and we were filming in this abandoned hotel that it was so nuts. Like the whole environment was just crazy, but it was a cast of 40 women, and everyone was in this, one floor was all these abandoned hotel rooms, and they turned them into our dressing rooms. And it was like dancers and actors, and it felt like a real collective, but it was all women. And then they had built all of these telephone poles on top of the hotel for like the signal of the town. And the whole set was static energy. It was like vibrating with electricity all the time, and we all had to keep washing our hands, and like our hair was standing up on end, like truly buzzing with electricity. Probably not healthy. But that was Suspiria. And then, that's the second movie I did with Luca, and he, I think, and I hope he and I will make movies together forever. He was my date to the Venice Film Festival premiere of Lost Daughter. And I also really care a lot what he thinks about my work. It's really interesting.
Is that not typical with you and friendships you make?
No. Yeah, not really. I think sometimes you have collaborators or friends that you admire and respect so much that you would show them an unfinished work, and or a finished work and say, that they would be honest with you, and he's that for me.
Awesome. I do have to ask you about the influences of your parents, because they are great actors, and I love Working Girl more than most people should. So what influence have they had on your career and, the choices that you're making in selecting roles?
I think they've had the most influence on me just by having me, because I was
born.
Yeah. But I was raised on set and raised, around filmmakers and actors and artists and musicians, and that I think informed so much of how I embrace work, but also the whole world. I can really adapt and flow and be places and feel fine and travel, and we were traveling a lot growing up. But in terms of work, my mom always said to me to, in work and in life, to go for the thing that makes my heart beat the fastest. And I've always tried to do that because that's more fun.
Awesome. I always like to end with just some fun bits about you and your love for movies, because you love movies, hence you're an actress. What is the movie that makes you cry every time? The tearjerker of your life.
I cry a lot.
In movies or just in general? Like
Well.
well.
Both. I'm not ashamed of it.
You don't have to be ashamed.
What do I cry in? I really do cry in a lot of movies.
What's the last movie that made you cry?
Well, the last thing that I watched was that show, I Know This Much Is True, that Mark Ruffalo did, which is like so spectacular, and I cried a lot in that.
What is the movie that makes you laugh until you cry?
Billy Madison. Stupid. Stupid answer.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, any Jim Carrey movie, really.
Good. And the role that you would most want to play, even if you're ill-equipped to play it?
These are tough. See, I can't answer that question because the roles that I love so much are usually played by the exact person that was supposed to play it. So I wouldn't ever say, oh, I should have done that. Like, who the fuck am I to say that? But also, I probably love it because of the actor or the actress. But maybe Raging Bull.
See, that's good. I could see you as a young De Niro.
As Al Pacino.
Yeah. Robert
As
De Niro.
De Niro.
De Niro. It was there. It was around the same guy who works.
Sorry.
You don't apologize to me. You are the best. Thank you, Dakota Johnson. Congratulations on the
Thank
Spotlight
you.
Award, and congratulations on a great
Thank you.
performance.
Thank you so much.